The Galactic Council chamber fell into an uncomfortable silence as the two human representatives were escorted to the witness stand. James Martinez, a weathered military strategist with graying temples, walked beside Lisa Chen, a brilliant xenobiologist, whose calm demeanor masked years of hardened experience. The assembled delegates, beings from across the galaxy, shifted uneasily in their seats, their various appendages twitching with anticipation. High Counselor Vexithara, a towering crystalline entity whose voice resonated like breaking glass, called the session to order. "We are here to address the incident involving species designation Terra 3, commonly known as humans, and the attempted subjugation by the Mordak Empire." A ripple of nervous energy passed through the chamber. The Mordak were known throughout the galaxy as unstoppable conquerors, their biomechanical war machines capable of reducing entire civilizations to ash within cycles. Yet here stood two members of a species most had considered primitive just stellar rotations ago. Commander Zektal of the Mordak delegation rose from his seat, his scarred exoskeleton gleaming under the chamber's artificial light. "Honored Council, the Mordak Empire formally protests this proceeding. The failed expedition to Terra 3 was an isolated incident caused by faulty intelligence." "Faulty intelligence?" James stepped forward, his voice carrying the weight of authority that came from leading desperate battles. "Is that what you're calling it now?" Liza placed a gentle hand on her colleague's arm before addressing the council. "Honored delegates, perhaps we should start from the beginning. When the Mordak fleet arrived in our solar system, they broadcast the standard surrender demand to what they assumed was a primitive world. Your planet showed no signs of advanced civilization," Zektal interjected. "No orbital stations, no energy signatures consistent with galactic standard technology. Your species hadn't even achieved basic faster-than-light travel." "That's true," James nodded. "We hadn't. But you made one critical error in your assessment." The council leaned forward collectively, their various sensory organs focused intently on the human pair. "You assumed that advancement could only follow one path," Liza continued. "When your scouts observed our cities, our infrastructure, our seemingly crude weapons, you calculated an easy victory. A single planetary bombardment, followed by ground forces to claim whatever resources remained." Counselor Vexithara's crystal form pulsed with curiosity. "But surely the Mordak forces were overwhelming. Their biomechanical warriors are legendary." James's expression hardened. "They were impressive. I'll give them that. When their drop pods started falling from the sky, each one carrying a 12-foot-tall killing machine with enough firepower to level city blocks, we knew we were outgunned." "So how did you resist?" asked Delegate Quinara, a gelatinous being, whose translation implant gave her voice a melodic quality. "The Mordak have conquered over 300 worlds." Liza smiled for the first time since entering the chamber. "We did what humans have always done when faced with impossible odds. We adapted. The first thing we realized," James explained, "was that the Mordak were used to fighting civilizations like themselves. Advanced, standardized, predictable. They expected orbital defenses, energy shields, plasma weapons. Instead, they found humans hiding in subway tunnels with improvised explosives." "Impossible," Zektal hissed. "Primitive explosives cannot penetrate Mordak armor." "You're right," Liza agreed up. "But they don't need to penetrate armor to collapse a tunnel, or bring down a bridge, or contaminate a water supply." She paused, letting her words sink in. "Your warriors might be unstoppable in open combat, but they still need to breathe, still need to eat, still need supply lines." James continued the narrative. "While your forces were busy destroying military bases that we'd already evacuated, human civilians were learning how to fight back. A truck driver figured out that liquid nitrogen could freeze your biomechanical joints. A chemistry teacher showed people how to make compounds that corroded your hull plating. Children were passing messages through video games that your intelligence couldn't decrypt. But the most important thing," Liza said, her voice growing stronger, "was that every time you adapted to one of our tactics, we'd already moved on to 10 others. Humans don't just use tools, we become tools. We turn anything and everything into a weapon, a shield, or a trap." The chamber was silent except for the soft hum of translation devices working overtime. In the end, James said quietly, "It wasn't our technology that defeated you. It was our refusal to accept defeat. When you destroyed our armies, we became guerrillas. When you conquered our cities, we took to the wilderness. When you controlled the skies, we went underground. For every human you killed, 10 more learned from that death and became more dangerous." Zektal's mandibles clicked nervously. The expedition was recalled due to the excessive resource expenditure required to maintain control. "You retreated," Liza corrected gently. "After losing 60% of your invasion force to a species you considered primitive. And now you want to claim it was just faulty intelligence." High Counselor Vexthara's crystalline form flickered with what might have been amusement. "And what does humanity seek from this council?" James and Liza exchanged a look before James answered. "Nothing. We're not here to demand reparations or seek protection. We're here because the galaxy should know humans don't make good victims. We're also here," Liza added, "to make an offer. Humanity is interested in joining the galactic community. We have much to learn, and perhaps much to teach." The silence that followed was profound. Finally, Counselor Vexithara spoke. "The Council will consider humanity's application for membership. Commander Zektal, the Mordak Empire's claims regarding faulty intelligence have been noted and dismissed." As the session concluded, delegates throughout the chamber began urgent conversations with their respective governments. The galaxy had just learned that there were other kinds of strength beyond advanced technology, and that the small blue world in the Sol system might just change everything. James and Liza walked out together, knowing that their planet's future had just taken an irreversible turn toward the stars.